Hey guys, it's Friday. Lawrence Presman here. You're watching Puck Time with the Prez. Carmine Bianco and Andrew McGinnis joining us. 7 hockey games on tap for tonight. We're going to take 4 of them apart in great detail, and then we'll take a look at the other 3 very quickly in the last minute of play. So much to talk about. So many of us are on massive runs. I have to get that out of the way right off the bat, and then we'll get straight to the games. From my perspective, here's the most important thing. I'm on a 13-2 NHL run. A couple of days ago, I was on 11-2. Then I was on a 12-2. Now I'm on a 13-2. I just keep winning, and I can't thank you guys enough for your trust and loyalty in buying my plays and riding this incredible run with me. Tonight I have a 5% play in hockey. I do not have these often. I've probably had maybe 6 the entire year. So check this out. I'm on a 13-2 hockey run. I'm on a 12-2 all sports 5% run. I am absolutely rolling, guys. My 5% play over at wagertalk.com, $40. Please do not share this promo code around. I'm trying to do something just for you guys because you watch all the time, and I appreciate it. Prez 5%. That's the promo code for my 5% play tonight. You guys get it for half price. Andrew McGinnis, we got a great promo for you coming up. How are you? Wearing a tie today, dude. Talk to me.
I'm just in a great mood, Prez. You're up in your setup. Things are going good for me. I'm pretty much hot in most sports right now. It's Friday. I'm feeling good, man. I'm feeling good.
Well, that's good to hear. You look good. Carmine Bianco, you're off to Vegas tomorrow. You must be super stoked about that, my friend.
Yes, I certainly am. I know I'm going to get a little bit of problems at the at customs because I'm bringing in quite a bit of cash to Vegas for both those games. A lot of futures bets and props. But I'm looking forward to it. And of course, for once, we had a winning day, so we're on the upswing as well too. Dave, he motivated me with the I'm on peak here, on the top of the peak. So everything's peaks and valleys, but we're coming back. A quick question for you, Prez. When you say Prez 5%, is that the 5% sign or is that the word percent?
No. So if you guys look at the bottom of the screen, the promo is right there.
I don't see it.
5 and then a percentage sign. So PREZ. 5 and a percentage sign.
Yeah, I don't get this. I don't get to see it. I actually, I'm going to piss you off by doing this, but if you guys are out there and you're thinking of getting Prez's play, he's going to have basketball. He's going to have hockey on Saturday, but he has, I think, a 5% play
Super Bowl.
On the Super Bowl. So why not just pick up his 3-day
7-day all access package, $79. Yeah, last day of that promotion, Prez 7-9. Okay.
Yeah, that's actually a better deal.
Yeah,
anyways.
I mean, to say the least. I mean, Prez 7-9, you get 7 days of all my plays, including my 5% tonight, my hoops. I'm rolling in college basketball.
Prez.
But Andrew's on the hottest streak, period, we have going on the site. Him and Dr. Chuck. You guys should head over to Sports Memo and check both of them out. But Andrew, we're going to talk about your streak after we take apart the first game because we're going to lose some people given that all we're doing is trying to sell right now. Hockey, boys. Pittsburgh hosting Philadelphia. Philadelphia holding on. These teams now, as it gets closer to playoff time, all these games are important. Minus 167 for Pittsburgh. An over and under of 6. And Andrew, I'll go to you first. Philly has won 2 in a row. They just beat Pittsburgh 3-0. They've won 4 of their last 5. And Pittsburgh, I mean, yeah, look, they lose a couple of games along the way, but this team has just been on an absolute tear for a couple of months now. They've won 6 of 8. What are you doing in this game, my friend?
Yeah, Prez, the last time I was on this show, I believe it was Tuesday, and all I was talking about was post-All-Star situational bets, and pretty much you told me it was irrelevant, the extended rest, and pretty much, it was an undefeated record for teams that have played versus teams that hadn't played. Also to the over, we've got 2 teams that haven't played in almost 10 days here. This Philadelphia team, 12-4, their last 16 games off extended rest. And again, the reason why extended rest means anything to me, I'm not a huge trends guy, but it's because you're in vacation mode. You haven't played in a while. You don't lose your ability to score. You lose your defensive intensity, and the goaltending is a little bit off. And for that reason, I'm on the over in this game. There's so many stats that point towards the over. The over is 17-6-3. The last 25 meetings in Pittsburgh. That's a big scale, but this is a battle of Pennsylvania, teams that play each other all the time. The over is 6-1, the last 7 for the Pens against a team with a winning record. Everything for me in this battle right now tells me the over is the play. I also wanted to mention that in this series alone, the road team is 8-3 the last 11 meetings. I'm not sure why. I've noticed it the last several times these teams have played. For some reason, the road team comes out on top. I want to say, though, this Pittsburgh team is a team that you want to take a look at in the next little stretch here, because if they were able to have such success when they didn't have key guys and they had so many injuries at the beginning of the season, what are they going to be able to do when they're healthy? And they've got Tristan Jarry now pretty much competing to be the number 1 guy, it seems like, with a pretty good goals against average. What is this team going to be like when they're fully healthy? Because I'll be quite honest, I was caught fading them a decent amount of times due to their injuries, and they proved me wrong. So I think it's about time we start giving them more credit and betting them a little bit more. But I'm on the over here, Prez, for the same reason that I stated on Tuesday for teams that haven't played in a little while.
Andrew, you are on a 15-2 all sports run, or is it a 17-2?
15-2
all sports run. You're up in every single sport. You are just, I'll tell you, we over at Wager Talking Sports Memo are so impressed with you, dude. Your work ethic for your age is unbelievable. You care so much about this. You talk the talk, walk the walk. You have just been winning month after month after month. The number 1 seller at Sports Memo over the last 6 months. Huge congratulations. We have a 1-day only flash sale for you. 1 day only. You can tweet it out. It is done at midnight. A year of all your plays is $1,999. I literally took $1,000 off of that package. 1 whole year of all your plays, $999. Promo code Andrew999. It's on the bottom of the screen, Andrew999. You use that over at sportsmemo.com. Just a massive congratulations, dude.
I appreciate it, Prez. And I wanted to point out one thing just really quickly, because I know off the top of the show that we were talking about, sales and promoting, and you didn't want to touch on that too much. But just to get my 2 cents in, yesterday I had a package up. It was a college basketball package, 2 games going off on midnight. And those were 2 losers. I went 0 for 2 on my package advertised. However, all sports last night, my clients did really, really well, ended up on a positive note. At one point, I was at 15 straight all sports winners. However, I had people that were upset with me that bought that daily pick. So, when we advertise about longer term, it's just because, you could have 1 or 2 bad plays that you ended up being your advertised plays. But like Carm was saying, for you, Prez, people are better off buying a 3 or 7 day versus a 1 day. You can get a larger sample size. So, I truly, truly do care about my clients. And when I get messages of them thanking me or asking me questions, I'm definitely going to answer. That's, the number 1 thing I want people to know about me is that, I'm not just you're not just a number to me. If you're a client, I care about you, and I'm always going to answer messages and talk.
Yeah, wise and mature beyond his years. Carmine Bianco, Philly, Pittsburgh. Talk to me.
Yeah, the last game these teams played were 10 days ago when they faced each other, and the Flyers won at home 3-0. I'm looking at the fact that the Pens have one of the top 5 home records in the NHL, much like Philadelphia did going into that game. They just don't lose a lot of games at home. I think they're 11-4 their last 15. The Flyers are the complete reverse. They hit the road and they just can't seem to win. You look at their last 11 games, and they've only got 3 wins. They're 3-8 those 11 games. 2 of the wins were against Anaheim and Ottawa, not very quality wins. The one against the Blues was a phenomenal game, and that was their last road game. But it's looking at some of the other core numbers. Is of the 8 losses on the road in those 11 games, there was only maybe 1 or 2 quality opponents, the Colorado Avalanche, and maybe the Vegas Golden Knights. But they were in a slump at the same time. They're losing to the teams that like the LA Kings, Anaheim Ducks, Winnipeg, who has not had a good home record, and we'll talk about them a little later on. I just don't see how, even with, the home team, I think winning 8 of the last 11, like Andrew said, I just don't see how the Flyers can go in unless they play a game similar to that St. Louis game where they stood on their heads. I just don't see them winning tonight. With that said, I don't want to lay $1.70. I'd rather take the regulation line, 3-way line, and lay $1.20 with Pittsburgh tonight.
I'm with you there, Carm. I think Pittsburgh in regulation is the play here. Not a game I'm going to be watching tonight, though, because, I have a 5% play tonight, and it ain't on that game, and a man can only have so many television sets. Andrew, you're a young guy. I have been watching Sex Education on Netflix. I can't stop. I don't even know why I like this damn show. I watched till 3 a.m. last night. I have watched I've watched 12 episodes in 3 days. It's unbelievable. Have you seen this show?
I walked in on one of my roommates watching it the other day, and I was like, what the hell are you watching? And then they pretty much just said, hey, sit down, give it a chance, and, you'll like it. And I thought it was pretty funny. I thought it was a pretty funny show. It's, not something I'm going to watch.
No, it is. It is, dude. The characters are incredible, and Maeve, whose real name I think is Emma McKay. Okay, we better move on. The old man is getting out of control. Somebody thought I was older than Carm because I have gray hair. So just think about that.
That's Carm.
Carm has no hair. I have a full head of hair, and some guy thought I was older than Carm because it's gray.
I get told many times that they think I'm in my early 40s.
Yeah.
So I take that as a compliment.
Early 40s, my ass.
All right.
Boston.
Moving on.
Boston, Winnipeg. God, Winnipeg. I mean, this team is in dire need of a win streak. They are plus 150 at home tonight and over and under of 6. Boston has lost 3 of their last 5 games. But Winnipeg, man, I tell you, this team is a disaster. They've lost 4 in a row. They've lost 6 of 7. They just lost to Columbus, Carolina, Chicago. They got annihilated by Tampa Bay. Andrew, I'll go to you first. What do you like in this game?
I truly hope that you guys don't get pissed off with me with being repetitive, but I have the same mindset here. The Bruins are a team that has a lot of vets. They're got some younger guys, but they have a kind of a veteran team, I guess we could call it, with guys like Chara, even Bergeron, players like that. And rest is always a good thing for them, and they are 5-0 with extended rest this year. So whether that's Christmas break, whether that's a small little 3-day break, whatever it is. they're 5-0 when they are rested and ready to go. Some teams, they play better when they're playing lots of games. They got some games under their belt. This Jets team is 2-7 in their last 9 games when they've had some rest. They have to be playing all the time apparently, or else they get rusty. Those are strong stats to me. This Winnipeg team does not take care of the puck. They're a very, very sloppy team, especially in their own end, whereas the Boston Bruins, they know how to take care of the puck.
Yeah.
That's part of their game. They're very responsible in their own end, and that's one thing that you can really give them props to, which is why they are quite a bit of an under team for the most part on a larger scale. But I think to me the easier play here is the Boston Bruins. I know it's a pretty good price here. It's at -160, so do whatever you'd like. Get it in regulation. Take the puck line whenever you'd like. But I think this is a Bruins team that needed a break, needed the All-Star break. We saw, like you said, Prez, I think it was they're 1-5 their last 6 games before the All-Star break. This Winnipeg team is allowing goals left and right. I certainly see this Bruins team coming out firing post All-Star break.
And Carm, I'm with Andrew on his analysis there. And, to me, I look at this game and I actually think Winnipeg is a live dog right here at +150. I like Winnipeg tonight in this spot. And I like the over. I think we're going to get a lot of scores. You're going to tell us about the goalie situation and what your thoughts are in this game.
Yeah, and instead of it taking a side, I'm going to look at that total. And yesterday, I did give out to you guys on air one of my client plays, which was the first period over in that Preds game, and I'm going to do the same thing here. Another client play that amongst the other plays that I have out is again the first period over here. You have to lay a little bit of juice. I think it's like 135 for the over 1.5. But you look at these teams, and Tuukka Rask, came off he was always going to play after the All-Star break, but he came off the injury list. He had the concussion that was suffered in that game against Columbus. His last real game action was back on January the 11th, and no matter how much practice you have, you can't simulate a real game thing. So he's been off essentially almost 3 weeks, being the 31st, 20 days. So yeah, he's in net. A Winnipeg team that's probably going to come at them. Winnipeg came at them in that game they played in Boston just a couple of weeks ago. I think on January the 9th, it was a 5-4 final between these two teams, and it was a barn burner. There's just a ton of goals in that game. Bruins came back to win against them, and I think it's something similar tonight just because of this. And Hellenbruck, who's having just I don't want to call it a disastrous type of season. He's just not himself, and a lot of it has to do with the Winnipeg defensive unit. Terrible. But it's Laurent Brassard in net tonight for Winnipeg, so they're going to go to him. He doesn't get a lot of starts, but maybe this is one of the things where they just give Hellenbruck a little more time to sort of get his faculties together, if you want to call it that. It's just one of those things where I think we're going to see some goals tonight. I'll likely be betting the full game over, but the first period over is a play that I've given out to my clients, and I'm letting you guys know as well too.
He's Carmine Bianco. You can find him at wagertalk.com. Andrew McGinnis from Sports Memo. You're watching Puck Time with the Prez. This is a show that talks hockey all the time, Monday to Friday. You can find it at our YouTube channel, Wager Talk TV, along with a whole ton of other stuff. Joe Ranieri hosts the College Basketball Daily Show with Ralph Michaels. Joe Ranieri also hosts our NBA Tip-Off Show every day. That show is taped live on our YouTube channel with a panel of upwards of 5 different people at times. And Drew Martin hosts the Sports Memo podcast, so check that out. The NFL presidential address is up. It's been up for a couple of days over at Wager Talk. Ralph Michaels and I look at props for the Super Bowl, and I'll tell you, it is an amazing show. Ralph is just so informative. Carm, I'm going to go to you first on the St. Louis Blues game. St. Louis is in Edmonton. You know, I bet Edmonton a couple of nights ago against Calgary. I did not release it. It was just a private bet. Me and my girl Viv was watching the game. It was an unbelievable game. 2 goalposts in the shootout for them. They ended up losing that game to Calgary. Now they're at home at plus 115 against St. Louis with a total of 6. And St. Louis, they beat Calgary 4-3 in a shootout. And Edmonton, well, I think they're still in a great position right now. They've won 5 of their last 7 games. I think they're playing much better hockey. They're going to play really good after they trade Adam Larson for William Nylander. But that hasn't happened yet, so we can't take that into account. Carm, where are you going in this game, my friend?
I'm leaning under here, and it's just because I think 6 is a good number. I think if you look at some of the results between these two teams, there's a lot more unders than there are overs here. You know, the fact that, Binnington's in net tonight, although he hasn't been confirmed, I'm pretty sure because this is a back-to-back for St. Louis, and I'm pretty sure they'll start Jake Allen in net against Winnipeg tomorrow. So I'm pretty sure Binnington goes. I think this is a bigger game, and you've got to put Binnington in there tonight. Likely Koskinen for Edmonton. He's had his up and downs, but his numbers are good. I still like his numbers, and for me, I think this is going to be one of those tight ones where it's likely one of those 3-1, 3-2 type games. It's got to be the under for me. I don't want to take either side. I did have Edmonton in that shootout loss, I think, or the overtime loss to Calgary. So I'm a little snake bitten by them, but I still think they're a very good team. Anytime you have one of the best players, if not the best player, I know you think it's McKinnon, but
no, I think Connor McDavid is the best. Connor McDavid is the best player in hockey, period. And I'll go out on a limb and say that Connor McDavid will be the greatest player of all time. I understand nobody's ever going to touch Wayne Gretzky's numbers. It was a different era. The big key to the high-scoring games of past was they didn't have the offsetting penalties. So they were playing 4-on-4 hockey a lot back in Wayne Gretzky's days. Nobody is better than Connor McDavid. I mean, no, I've never seen. I was watching the game, and Andrew, will go to you because I know Carm likes the under in this one. I was watching the Calgary game with my girl, and Connor McDavid literally skates around defensemen. This is something that it's not done. These are professional defensemen who play position hockey, who get their bodies in the way, and he, in that game alone, skated through 2 defensemen, like split them, and then in the third period skated around a defenseman. Nobody has ever done that to the defenseman as consistently as Connor McDavid. Wow.
I think the biggest thing with Connor McDavid is not just his speed, but how he works on his edges. Because you saw in the All-Star competition, he actually lost to Matthew Barzal for the fastest skater competition. But there's no way that Matthew Barzal can do nearly the things, on a split-second change of movement, just like Connor McDavid can. We've seen so many highlight goals where he's going super slow. All of a sudden, he's fast again, changing speeds, changing directions. That's really what makes him good, in my opinion. And to pick up on what Karim was saying, I fully agree. This is 2 teams. It's very interesting. 2 teams coming off a game against the exact same team, Calgary. Both of those games being very, very messy games. Very high scoring, very intense, high shot counts, lots of chances. If you're a hockey fan, both those games were great to watch. On a large scale right now, this St. Louis team is surprisingly going over at a pretty good scale, though. And I think it's just because they're getting a lot of 5.5s because of their great goaltending, because of their great, defensemen and that nature. But, I think that they're a team that when they come off a low-scoring affair, they go ahead and, go high the next game. If they're coming off a really sloppy game, the next game they try and buckle down. So that's kind of where I would look in this one here. I think St. Louis would get my money, though, if I was betting the money line side here. They've done really well against the Western Conference. And line for line, I think they do match up really well against Edmonton. And, a lot of the time, hockey's a physical game. It comes down to...
A lot of times?
Well, not really in the regular season.
A lot of times, boxing is physical.
Success in the regular season because they're soft. In the playoffs, they don't have success because they're not physical. And the St. Louis Blues won the Cup last year because they have both. They have skill players and physical players. And I think that's one of the reasons why they outmatched the Edmonton Oilers tonight. Not only are they skillful, but they also have big guys that can play tough hockey.
I don't want to mock you or anything, but a lot of times hockey is physical would be the equivalent of saying a lot of times there's sex in porn.
But Prez,
I get it, dude. Listen, I get it. Just to end the whole Connor McDavid thing, you're right, Andrew. It's his edges, and the reason he's getting around, literally skating around defensemen is once he gets that, like if he's going to the defenseman's left, his right, once he gets his left foot to the side of the defenseman's skate, he can't be stopped because then he leans over with his insanely large frame, sits on his edges, and he is able to go around the defenseman not only with speed, but just sheer body power. They can't get to him. He controls the puck like Matt Sundin did and has speed like Connor McDavid. Something special, that hockey player. I think the Leafs should trade William Nylander for Connor McDavid.
Yeah, never going to happen.
He's having a career year, and he's actually having everyone complained about what he got paid. He actually got paid pretty decent comparison to what you guys paid Matthews and Marner. He's the contract you want to keep.
Yeah, I'm kidding. Nobody's trading.
Yeah. I think
Wow.
my all-time favorite goal for this year is when Connor McDavid at the Scotiabank Center literally corkscrewed the Leafs defenseman into the ice.
Yeah, it was Morgan Riley. It was unbelievable.
And just top shelved that puck. It was just a thing of beauty. Probably one of the best goals of the season.
Vegas Golden Knights, Carolina. Carolina minus 140 tonight. The over and under in this game is 5.5. There are sixes on the board. Before we get into that game, I just want to make mention again, a full year of Andrew McGinnis's plays, every single sport. $999. It's $1,000 less than the regular price. It's only around for today. Head over to sportsmemo.com. Use the promo code Andrew999. Carmi, I'll go to you first on this Vegas Carolina game. What do you like, sir?
I don't want to take either side. I thought about last night and looking at some of these numbers and just wondering how this Vegas team, after the coaching change, didn't really do much on their road trip, but how the coaching change would affect them once they got home and after the All-Star break, and do they start like a sort of like a second half push? You don't want to start that second half push you'd love to, but going into Carolina where they play really well. But this line is just low. I don't get the line right now. Given the way they played heading into the All-Star break, I figured the Hurricanes should probably be about 155 here. They're $1.40, so they're 15 cents lower than I think where they should be. But I still can't play either side, and it's because the Golden Knights, and this is why I'm leaning to the over here, is it's Subban in net tonight. The Knights play back to back, so tomorrow night they play the Preds. You're going to want to start Fleury in a Western Conference game where those points mean a lot more. Not to disrespect the Canes, but this is probably where you start Subban in net. And Subban, while Fleury was away, he kind of stood on his head. But after Fleury came back, he's been lit up, and he hasn't looked good. And he's gone back to sort of like his start of the season Subban look. With that said, 5.5, and I understand it's 5.5 because it's the Hurricanes. You're going to get a little bit of fight from this Golden Knights team tonight, but and this is probably why the line is where it is. I'm surprised some books still have 5.5. I thought this should be a straight 6 last night when it came out. And I would take it over 5.5 for me.
Yeah, I mean, look, they've gone 7 in a row under the total, and that's all. With Carolina has gone 7 in a row under the total, and that's ultimately why we're seeing that 5.5. Mr. McGinnis, what do you like in this game?
Yeah, I like the over. I think that people a lot of times will look at Subban and think that everything is all on him just because of the stats. But I've talked about this before. Sometimes teams play better in front of their starter versus their backup, and he's a perfect example of that. The defense has not been great either, Carmen. I think you could probably agree with that, letting him down quite a bit whenever he's in nets. And the games that he's stood on his head and they've actually been able to score a few goals, they've definitely helped him out. In the last 10 games, Vegas has allowed their opposition to score at least 3 goals 8 times. So they're definitely getting scored on no matter who they're really playing against. And this Carolina team is they're cashing overs at a pretty good clip as well, because for the same reason I was saying for St. Louis, Carolina's getting the 5.5s. They're getting the 6s. You don't ever see them getting 6.5s, or rarely even 6s. And just so Prez doesn't call this irrelevant, so we can get a little trend going here. Vegas 4-0 to extended rest on the over. Carolina 5-0 extended rest to the over. Rest means goals. That's all I'm going to say. And this game will go over the total.
Yeah, I've never disagreed with rest means goals, but I know you're trying hard to find stuff to pick on me
Tuesday,
about.
you said it's irrelevant.
I'm gonna mute your mic. I have full control of the board here, dude.
Do I get to speak then?
Yeah, go ahead, Carm.
And I talked about. Listen, he's had some very good starts this season. But, when I look at the last couple, and, I'm big on the save percentage a lot of the times. But, LA Kings, he allowed 5 goals. The Anaheim Ducks, he allowed 4 goals.
Okay, that would be the equivalent of like 30 goals against the Leafs.
These aren't teams that score a lot of goals. And when you're allowing... Yeah. And this is only on 23 shots against the Kings and 18 shots against the Ducks, which puts that his save percentage for those games at .783 and .778. Those aren't good numbers. You're not going to win games like that. And this is a Carolina team that's going to come at him. So if that defense, like Andrew said, and I completely agree with that, if that defense is not playing well tonight, there's a good chance he gets lit up. Now, I would love to see one of those games like we saw last night in Nashville, New Jersey game, where there was just a ton of goals. I think they ended on 11 goals, and it was great. So let's get some goals here. Let's get them early, and let's get this over the total.
Guys, I just got an email. We get about 10 emails a day from people who want to join Wager Talking Sports Memo as a handicapper. Listen, we're always interested. Send us your bio. Send us your information. careers@wagertalk.com. This email, the guy started off telling us, a little bit about him, and then he wrote, a little over a week ago, I built a few NBA models using data mining skills I learned in school. It achieved a 58% rate, and I am confident that it will perform well going forward. Sir, I hope it performs well going forward. I'm cheering for you. But if you could kindly just maybe run it for a year, just a year, not a week, a year, and then get back to us, that would be spectacular. We cannot.
What are your thoughts on that stuff, eh? What are your thoughts, and Carm, yourself as well? Because I have a few friends and family members that are involved in, stats and analytics with a science major and different things like that, and building models, computer science. Obviously, we'd all be rich if you could just develop a model and
Andrew,
follow it. What do you think about that stuff, Prez?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I can't cloak it with one paintbrush. I don't even know what the hell that just meant. But some are going to work. I mean, Henry from Pinnacle, they started the computer group. That model worked really well for about 7 years. The bookmakers catch up to it. But yes, you can run predictive modeling, et cetera, and over a period of time, it will work. But who am I to say that somebody's systems don't work? I mean, there is and was a handicapper who predicted outcomes of games based on when the players were born. I'm not even kidding. Their actual birth date. He had some like biometric, rhythmic, I can't remember what it was called. But, a player performs at his optimum X days away from his birthday. Who am I to say that that's wrong? I mean, the guy had good results. Like, I don't know, use a monkey. Do pointed stuff. I mean, if it works well for 2 years straight, okay.
So there was that octopus. If you remember that octopus that picked eight World Series winners in a row, or I don't know what it was, but it was wrong in the ninth year, and they turned it into like a plate of calamari. But it's a true story. The octopus that predicted games.
We believe you. Okay, boys, we got 3 games we're going to go through quick. I just want to summarize the promo codes for the show. Then we can race through those games and call it a day. Prez 5%. That's Prez 5 and the percentage sign. Half price for my 5% main event NHL play tonight. Andrew 999. 1 full year of Andrew's plays, every sport, half price. And Prez, $79 for a week of all my plays. Carm will get you some promos out next week. Okay, boys, let's rock. Detroit in New York playing the Rangers, minus 200 for the Rangers. Over and under is 6. I'll take the Rangers on the puck line here, Andrew.
Same thing for me. I think it's a good spot for the Rangers. Detroit's going to be a team you're going to want to fade, and this is not really a good spot for them. Point blank.
Carm?
Upset alert. Yes, I know. I haven't been drinking. Detroit is the worst team in the league. Howard struggled. I think he's 0-6-1. He's lost his last, 20 games or something like that. But, yeah, he's been pretty good against the New York Rangers. So I'm gonna take a shot on Detroit, getting a plus 180 here.
Good luck with that. Ottawa plus 167 against Washington, a total of 6.5. I'm passing on this game, Andrew.
Say Ottawa?
Yeah.
Well, that game, the way I feel with that one is, Washington's throwing out Samsonov in between the pipes because Holtby has just been not looking like himself recently. Past few weeks even, he's been giving up rebounds left and right. And this Washington team, as skilled as they are, they can score 4 or 5 goals a game. But if you're allowing 3 or 4 goals as well consistently, you're not going to do well. You're not going to make a run in the playoffs and do too well. That's kind of something that's really coming out of their locker room right now from players and the coaching staff. So I like the under 6.5 here. Ottawa right now, they're coming off a win against Buffalo, and I think it was, one of those one of those games that kind of fell into that situational spot I was saying with a team that already had a game under their belt on Monday, playing a team Tuesday that hasn't played yet. That was against Buffalo. And in this game here, Ottawa is giving up goals left and right. They have to know that if they're going to beat Washington, they're going to have to play a decent defensive game as well. So I think the best play here is the under, and Washington probably in regulation. But I have a feeling, though, Prez, because I remember particularly the last few times these two teams played, hats off to you. You cashed with the minus 2.5 with the Capitals, which is always a great, great price. Something tells me this might not be a good night to do that.
No.
Keep it close.
Yeah, so I'm passing on this game completely, dude. But thanks for pointing that out. Bold man, what do you like?
Washington was that was probably one of their sloppiest games of the year against the Nashville Predators, where they lost 5-4. I have to believe they bounced back and probably bounced back in a big way. They've dominated the Senators their last couple of games. I think they've won 6 or 7 straight. With that said, I think we really see them push in this first period. So I'm going to look at a first period line and take Washington -0.5 plus 135. So basically, Washington to win the first period plus 135.
That's a good price, Carm.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
I like that bet.
All right.
Tampa Bay -190 against Anaheim. Andrew, I'll take Tampa Bay -1.5. These two, there's just no way Anaheim can keep up with this team.
I don't think so either. I like the over, but more importantly, I like the first period over. The Ducks are now 11-1 in their last 12 for the first period over.
Yep.
This is a team that nobody talks about. Nobody likes to bet on them or bet games that involve them. But just like I was saying with these 5.5 totals, some teams kind of slide under the radar going over those 5.5, strictly because they're bad teams. But it doesn't mean you can't profit off them. And this team's going over full game, but more importantly in the first period. And Tampa Bay, I think it's really, really noteworthy to mention that, they're not even in my top 5 right now as far as power rankings go. They're giving up goals at a really bad clip. I don't think Vasilevsky has looked too good. The D-core hasn't looked great for Tampa, so that definitely helps out my over bet here.
Carm, end the show for us, please.
Yeah, I mean, I said when for January that Tampa Bay's schedule is a very favorable one. I didn't see them going any worse than 10-3 in the month. They're now 9-3 with tonight's game as obviously their last game of January. So yeah, I'm taking them to win, and I think Prez, I think you're right on taking them on the puck line. I'll take them -1.5 plus 135. They played the other night against the LA Kings, and it was one of those emotional things. With the whole Kobe thing, they fell behind early 2-0, and when it was 2-0, I took Tampa Bay in game because you could get plus money on them. I just knew that they're too good a team to lose that game. They came back and won that game 4-2. Similar thing here. Anaheim's one of those teams that zigs and zags, and their zags are more losses than they are wins. I just don't see them put together 2 wins in a row against a very good Lightning team.
Okay, boys, that's the show. Love having you both on. Carmine, have yourself an incredible, amazing trip to Vegas. We won't see you for the first half of next week.
Yeah. If you guys need me, I can do the show from the hotel room. It's not a problem. I'll have all my equipment or most of it there, anyways.
Okay, boys and listeners, thank you so much for watching Puck Time all week, for commenting. The comments have been outstanding all week, especially in regards to our new setup. I cannot thank you enough. We will see you on Monday. Hopefully Alex will be back, and it'll be Andrew, Alex, and myself. I'm trying to figure out a way to sign off. I wanna sign my computer, and my computer does actually have a pen that works with it, so I could do it. I just need to figure out how. I think it would be such a cool ending. Prez out. Later, guys.
Later. Good luck, boys.